All right, good day, everyone. We'll be getting going in a few minutes. See if we have just give people a few more, give them another minute, see them roll in. Hey, Renita, can you hear me?
Hey, good, Brian.
Good,
Mm-hmm.
good, 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 good. So Patrick, thank you for coming too. And looking at some things right here. And you guys can just check it. My screen looks fine, I assume. Good.
Yep.
All right. So I think we'll get rolling here then. You guys ready? Oh, what's happening? Something's spinning on my screen. Do you see that, Renita? Oh, my Norton
Yeah,
came up. I'm
not in yet.
sorry. Apologize when you do these things.
You're perfected.
Yeah. So we're back to seeing my screen fine. All right, folks. Why don't we kick things off then? Good day, everyone. I'm Brian Lapointe, and I'm joined today by a distinguished group. I got Renita Day, a senior ECM consultant at Fastman, and I have Patrick Vitale, CEO and CTO of AnswerModules. So the three of us are here to host for you today. Between us, we have many years of experience helping organizations maximize the value of their open text content management investments, through information governance, user experience optimization, and business process automation initiatives. Today, we're going to showcase a best practice approach from Fastman and AnswerModules for granting temporary user access to the open text content management system in a very controlled, secure, and automated way. We'll demonstrate how flexible user interfaces, API integrations, and workflow automation can streamline your process while maintaining strong governance and compliance. So again, thank you for joining us today. We're excited to share our insights and demonstrate these solutions to you. So let's get started. And then, Renita, Patrick, want to just say a quick hello? So a little sound check. You guys all good over there?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Excited about the webinar.
All right.
Morning, everyone.
So
Thank you, Brian.
thanks, Patrick. So without further ado, let's get rolling. So a few slides before we kind of get into some technical discussion and demonstration, guys. I'd like to briefly introduce Fastman. For nearly 20 years, we've been helping government organizations and enterprises improve their efficiency, strengthen governance, and get more value from their information management investments. Today, our products support more than 400,000 users across 160 organizations in over 20 countries. It's very much a worldwide effort and deployment of our solution. So it's great. Many OpenText customers, they know Fastman through our Permissions Manager solution, which is a trusted platform that simplifies OpenText permissions management within the content server application. And it helps organizations, prove compliance during audits. But beyond software, our professional services team works closely with customers to ensure they maximize the value of their OpenText investments and achieve their business objectives. Fastman has built a strong reputation within the OpenText ecosystem. Over the years, we've worked closely with organizations across multiple industries, many in public sector, banking, energy, oil and gas, utilities, helping them improve their governance and their operational efficiency. Our
Hey, Brian. Something
on.
happened, I guess. Yeah, you're back on audio. Yeah, we lost your audio for a second there.
Oh, okay. So you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you for the last few minutes. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe you can do the slide again, if that's okay.
this one right here or the one before it? Can you hear me, Renita?
Was the one before, I
Yep.
think.
Go back. Yep, this one.
Yeah, this one.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think what we were trying to say here, I feel like I'm repeating it, but maybe this is for the first time. You know, we found
And Brian, I think it's happened again.
industries, many in public sector, banking, energy, and utilities. You know, focus on helping them improve their governance and operational efficiency. Our long-standing partnerships with OpenText and others, including AnswerModules, reflect our commitment to really enhancing the OpenText platform overall. And you know, as you work to bring in AI and do cloud modernization efforts and accelerate on those initiatives, you know, being OpenText Cloud certified is important, and it's even more important than ever. And both Fastman and AnswerModules are among the ecosystem leaders, you know, helping customers, modernize securely and confidently in the cloud. So not all partners and all solutions are completely cloud certified. And when you're working with Fastman and AnswerModules, you have we're there already. That's basically what it comes down to. And so moving on, like Fastman, AnswerModules is an OpenText solution extension partner focused on helping organizations extend the capabilities of content management. And through their modular suite platform, customers can quickly, build tailored applications and user interfaces that simplify business processes and improve the user adoption on the system. Combined with Fastman's governance and access management solutions, it creates a powerful foundation for the solution we're demonstrating today. Okay. Uh, Furthermore, Modular Suite enables organizations to build these tailored applications and beautiful user experiences, as we like to say, directly within the OpenText content management platform. And it helps reduce the development effort, so it's faster, and it can accelerate the delivery, and then overall, from a tech, simplify upgrades and future upgrades that you have to do. In today's demonstration, you'll see Modular Suite provide the intuitive front-end experience, while Fastman is delivering the access governance and automation through its APIs. And before we kind of dive into the specific solution and technical demonstration, it's important to understand that Fastman's time-based access solution is part of the Fastman Management Suite. On the left, you'll see Permissions Manager and Access Manager, where they help organizations control and govern access on the platform. Of course, time-based access at the bottom left, we'll talk about how it enables temporary permissions that automatically expire. But we also have a data transformation tools on the right-hand side, anchored by Bulk Data Manager. These tools help you manage, migrate, and improve content and metadata at scale, right? And together, these self-service tools help customers strengthen governance while they're reducing their administrative effort on the platform. Information management systems like OpenText often need to provide access dynamically without creating long-term technical debt or administrative overhead. Time-based access functionality enables organizations to grant permissions for a defined period with access automatic.
We lost you again, Brian.
Compliance on the system for you. Users can easily identify temporary permissions. Administrators can
And you still have a problem with your audio.
Today, what we've done is added REST APIs, making time-based access even more powerful. And so Fastman's REST APIs enable organizations to create, update, review, and revoke time-based permissions programmatically. When integrated with applications like built-on Modular Suite, business users gain a simple, intuitive experience while IT still maintains that centralized governance and control. And it's this combination of automation, flexibility, and usability is what we're going to demonstrate to you today. And with that said, Miss Renita, we've covered the business and the solution architecture. So let's maybe see it in action if you would like.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And do let me know if my audio goes off at any time. So I can just cover that bit off, right? So let's share my screen. It's taking a minute, it's spinning. There you go. Okay. Can someone confirm that the screen is up and we can see content management?
We do.
Okay, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining in. So the first bit of the demonstration today, we are going to focus on the time-based access, which is available from Fastman. So I'll show a bit about the Fastman dashboard and how you can grant time-based access, and then we'll talk about the APIs at the very end. Past that, we will pass it over to Patrick, and then he can show AnswerModule suite with Fastman. Right. So here I have a business workspace. I am in Smart UI. So you must have seen Fastman Permission Manager. That's the dashboard. So content management is your single source of truth for your documents. And I can pretty much say that the Fastman dashboard is, the single source of truth for your permission, because it gives you the permission set up on your structure effectively with the visual cues and information on one screen, right? So over here, you can see I have my business workspace. It shows you the groups, users who have been granted access, and the permissions that they have been granted. Today, I'm going to focus mostly on the time-based access. So over here, I do have some documents on which time-based access has been granted, right? Now, what is time-based access? So there are scenarios where users need to be granted, users or group needs to be granted access on a temporary basis, right? If you don't do that, someone has to manually keep a track of people who need access for a short duration, and end of that, someone needs to go and clean it up, right? That's a manual process. Sometimes people forget, sometimes it's not done in a timely manner, and sometimes it results in error, right? So what we have done is implemented a safe and secure way in which time-based access can be granted to someone, and then the revocation happens automatically in the background. So here you can see I have both users and group added to this node. It is temporary access. You can see that with the small clock icon that you see on the left of the name of the item. And then if you hover on it, you will also see who granted this permission till when it is granted. So on 4th of September, this access is going to be automatically revoked, right? It also can be granted on users. So even if you are having group-based access in your system, but you want to override that and you want to grant access temporarily to a user, we can do that using time-based access, right? And then the permission here is being shown on the dashboard as well. Now, it's not necessary that you only grant new access to people. There are scenarios in which you would like to elevate their access or reduce their access for a time period. And I can give you a few examples. For example, someone has a read access, but they need to review and provide comments on your document for a short duration. So instead of making them, a user with edit access permanently, you can give them temporary access to edit that document, and then on expiration they will go back to their read-only access. Same way, someone who has full access during an cycle where you're going through multiple revision and changes, but post that, when you make a document final, let's say an SOP, you can make the document read only for all the users in the system so that no one can really edit the document, and maybe end of it, that access also expires automatically, making sure that obsolete documents are not accessed by people, right? So those are some scenarios in which I would use time-based access. So this is my use case over here. Now, the way we can grant time-based access is, I'll just go to the classic UI over here, same functionality. I could use my filter, which comes from Permission Manager. It's very well integrated with Permission Manager dashboard as well. And you can see here that as I provide a filter and extend, it not only maintains my filter, but also shows me the time-based access. So you can see here that Renita Day has been granted time-based access, and when I click on it, it's going to give me the effective permission of that user, right? So you can see that over here. This functionality is also available in our Smart UI. So if I do the same functionality over here, apply the filter, extend it, and see the effective permission, it will launch the effective view, and you can see that my access is actually coming from time-based access, right? Um, a few more things can happen in the classic UI. So for example, if you want to search in a specific structure where the time-based access has been granted, who has been granted, what sort of level they have been granted to, you can also use it with our permission manager search and replace capability. So if I go to the left-hand side, use the search function over here, say, give me any time-based access where the user or group has at least CNC content or modify, I can easily find out the time-based access that has been granted. And then obviously if I hover on it, I would know the reason why it was granted, who granted it, and on which date it is going to expire, right? Integrating this with the dashboard also gives you the feature of using our bulk changes that can happen from the dashboard. So copy, edit, replace, but I'm going to show you the replace user functionality. So you can see here that I have the demo CEO group. So let's say that I want to replace it with another group. So all I need to do is put the new group over here. So let's say that's going to be the general manager group, and I'm going to use my replace functionality, and I'm going to do it on the search item. I could have done it from the dashboard as well, right? And when I do that, it's going to replace the two items on which the user was added. And then when I go back and say done, you can see the CEO group was revoked and the new group was added over here, right? So this allows me to safely uh, change the time-based access from one group to another or one user to another if the need be so, right? Um, if someone wants to grant someone temporary access, there are multiple ways in which they can do it. I'll show you one of the ways in which you can do it on a single item. So let's say that you're working on draft documents. Someone in the team needs to review it, whether they are on your same team or a different team, but currently they don't have access, and you have verified that using the filter permission over here. One of the ways in which you could do it is click on the function menu and launch the time-based access. You can see the existing time-based access on this item, the reasons for it, when they have been granted, what is the expression, but you can also add new users from here. We also provide you option to edit, so you can either provide a comment or change the user expression and things like that from this GUI, and also delete time-based access which are not needed. Obviously, this gets revoked on the expiration date, but if you think that someone doesn't need an access anymore and you want to control that, that's also possible from the UI. Um, we also provide time-based access on containers. That's something you can enable from our admin pages. You can decide which objects are supported, and you can also grant time-based access on multiple objects. So let's take an example here. This is my draft copies. I want to send it maybe to a legal team for review. And when I send them an email, they come back saying, they don't have access to it. So one way in which I can do that today is use the bulk option over here. That gives me the option to cascade it down. I've not supported the folder, but the documents are. If there is a time-based access, I can revoke it, clear all of them. I can either do a replace and add, or I can just add the new user or group. So in this case, let's add Sam Crocker to the access level, right? I can also provide a date on expiration. It's defaulted to 1 month, but let's say they just need it for a week. I can do that, and then give them a comment about it, right? I can decide what level of access they get. You can see here that the max I can give them is add major version. And this is, again, something that you can configure. So here I am giving it to them, right? One important note here is anyone with edit access can grant time-based access. So this is not something an admin or a business admin has to do. We also have a configuration where you can say an owner group with a minimum set of permission can also apply time-based access. So if you are using a distributed way in which permissions are managed, or if you're using a centralized way in which permission are managed today, this gives you an override so that user can manage their permission time-based access individually, and that reduces the cycle time to get the necessary access to continue with your business process, right? So that's time-based access, what is available out of the box. I actually took the opportunity to kind of play around with the module suite a little bit for today's demonstration. So I'm going to quickly touch upon that. I'm in my Smart UI page over here, and what I've done is just to showcase how many time-based access has been applied on a folder. This is the same folder I was working with. These are the one that I added just now for using the multi-action button. And I added this particular column using module suite to just showcase how many time-based access are there. I also enabled a side panel so that user can grant time-based access from the Smart UI as well. So you can see here, this is listing down the time-based access as one of our APIs, which basically allows you to pass in a node and it will list down all the time-based access and all the related information also, right? We also let you add the time-based access. So again, if you want to send this document to someone for review, you don't need to go into the classic UI and do it. You can do it from the screen itself, give a comment, and this also takes care of all the validations that would happen out of the box. So the API really read into the configuration that your admin and business admin has done and adhere to that, right? So I can add, if I feel this access is not enough, I've given them CNC access, but they come back to me and say, hey, you know what, I want to do edits to your document, provide my review comment. I can always change it. So that's an update API that we have created. You can do it on one node, you can do it on multiple node, you can do it for one user, or you can do it for multiple users as well. So add, update, they all work on multiple nodes and multiple user group combination. We can also delete the time-based access from the APIs. That allows you to delete all time-based access. All you need to do is provide a justification. Not needed anymore, right? And this all was done using a combination of the APIs that we developed and obviously the smart pages that AnswerModule provides us, and the other smart UI extensions that are there, right? So with that, I would like to hand over to Patrick. I can't wait to see what business processes they have improved using the APIs and their module. So over to you, Patrick. I'll stop
Thank you
sharing.
so
Yeah.
thank you so very much, Renita. So
Mm-hmm.
let me share my screen and let's have a look at what we have implemented. And I like to point out this is let me say, is a very exciting time because this is the first actual results of the partnership that we have established with Fastman. We are very happy and satisfied about it. I think that is start bringing real value to our joint customers. So let me share my screen. I want to talk to you about the example that we have prepared. So what we have done, and I will show you later. So we have integrated into our scripting engine a dedicated extension package that allows us to use the Fastman API. Obviously, because we are seeing a set of content server, we are consuming the REST API from the OScript side. So it's very efficient from a performance perspective, is super fast. And again, doesn't require you to deal with the authentication, etc. But having these very same APIs as REST API is great, meaning because you will be able to use the very same also from other applications and from your own user interfaces if you decide to build elements of it or an entire application. In this case, what I have used the API for is just to give you a glimpse of what this functionality can be used for. and the infinite number of use cases that it can support. So here we have our an example of a case management application built with Model Suite. We can do many different things, but what I'm going to do today is to register a new case. So this is an application that customers are using for onboarding new employee. Is a demo application, but again, the purpose of it is to showcase an example. So we are fetching the data from a leading application, so I can create a new business workspace from here, or I can create it leveraging the integration with the leading application directly from the standard user interface of content management. So I can search for my let me say for my employee to onboard on the leading application, select it, and create the business workspace. So this is what we are doing. And what we have done is to use the time-based access as part of the process. So let me show you what we mean. So if we go back to the employee list, here is the newly registered employee. And as you will see, as part of the process of dealing with the onboarding of the new employee, our users are supposed to go through a set of tasks. So they need to collect documentation for the employee, and they also need to provide employee with the proper credentials. And this involves many different users. So this is a task that is not accomplished by a single user, but is actually something that requires multiple departments to work together. So the first of which is the IT department. So obviously, in this context, I do not want to grant the IT department full access to the business workspace of an employee that we are still onboarding. What I'd like to do is to make the IT department available only the minimum subset of documents and context that they need. And but if I want to implement this feature using the standard functionality, what I have to do is to implement something that shares documents on the fly with them, or folders, and then at the end of the workflow removes these accesses or checks out if they still need to have access to. With the Fastman solution, that is way more let me say structured, where may is handled in a more robust way, and so it's much simpler to be implemented. So this is what we are going to do. So I'm going to start a process, and here the user is supposed to basically decide what kind of software and tools the employee will receive. And when I'm going to click on the create credentials, what the system is actually going to do is to start a workflow for handling that request. So if we look back at the task, we'll see that we have now a workflow running. We are at the first step. This is for the IT department to work on. And if we look at the documents that we have been collecting so far, so I will show you later, but what we have essentially done is to provide access to the IT department to a couple of folders. So the company documentation and IT and finance folder. Okay. So as a matter of fact, if we look at these folders with the Fastman permission manager solution, we'll see that the IT department, the head of the IT department in this case, receive a temporary access. So this is what we have decided to do, because basically the system, what it does is checks if the group that we have selected contains more than one user, and by default, if it is a single user, it grant the access directly to that user, and under a specific condition. I will discuss them later. But as you see, if you look at the note, so the reason for this time-based access grant is that we are basically working on the workflow for employee credential, and that is followed by the ID of the workflow that we just started. Okay, so that is one of the, let me say, easy win that you can have working with the model suite. So because we programmatically start a workflow, we have the ID at hand, and so we can inject that information in the time-based access reason, so we can track very accurately why the user received the access and for which workflow that was granted. So if we look at the same information from the perspective of the other user, so if I go here, and you will see here, so we have basically access from this other user. And if I show you, so if I try to access the application as the other user doesn't have access to the application at all. So it doesn't have access to the application, it doesn't have access to the business workspaces or the documents within it. So if on the other hand, from here, I decided just to, for example, upload into company documents a bunch of files, picking them from demo files that I have in my computer. So I pick a bunch of documents and upload them here, okay? And if we go back to this page, so we are logged in as the other user, I'm going to refresh, and I should see among my assignments the task that have been assigned, okay? And I can open the task, and I will see in the task that we have basically from the workflow task two shortcuts that point directly to the folder that have been shared. So documents and support folder. So if I go into documents, I can just see the documents that have been shared and added to that folder. So I don't have to remember to revoke these accesses from these users. I don't have to worry about adding in a week time more information into this space because I know that Fastman will ensure that these users no longer will have access to this folder, etc. So that is a great simplification of this process. So, and as a user, I can now just work on this file, see what I need to see, and just stand on the workflow. In terms of the implementation, I'd like to show you how simple that is. So it's really few lines of code, as you see here. So used in our business, in our content script workflow. So this is the pre-submit script. So the script that is submitted that they use before the form is actually submitted. And as you see, what we are doing here, we are getting reference to a couple of folders that are part of the workspace, and then we are creating shortcuts in the attachments folders of the workflow. And the last thing that we do is to grant the IT department group the access to these folders for 1 day. So basically, in a daytime, the access to these folders will expire automatically, and we are providing we are adding the time-based access to both folders to this using these two build requests. So this Fastman extension package will be available with the next release of Model Suite, and we want to extend these Fastman APIs with other APIs in the near future. So you will be able to use the Fastman products also directly from for content script and build on your automation without having to again reinvent the wheel for a functionality that Fastman covers so well. Another example that comes into my mind is obviously a very simple one. So what I can also do with this kind of solution, potentially, I can decide to schedule this script to be executed in the future. So I can decide that I want to grant access to a certain content in my repository to a certain set of users, and I want to do that until a certain date, but I want to do it starting from a certain date. And I can just leverage the possibility of shadowing a script, maybe with a single date execution, so that the access will be granted from that moment until the expiration that we are going to set. So combining the two solutions, as you see, you will be able to cover way more use cases, and you will be able to do very interesting and support very interesting use cases for your users. And with that, I think that we can return the word to Brian for the next topic.
Yeah, I think that covers it well, Patrick. I really appreciate you and Renita giving your technical demonstrations today. We did get a few questions through, but they're kind of I think you answered them. They kind of were specific questions through the chat, Renita, right? I think I saw you answer one of them. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming to today's webinar. We'll be posting this online. Anyone who registered, and there'll be communication from Fastman out to the community with the video. But exciting times, and I think you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, putting in context, when you use time-based access and you can programmatically enable it in the business process, it really handles a lot of corner cases that people have to solve for. And then, when you speak, a lot of times when we just talk about this capability, it comes across kind of a simple feature, but when you look behind the curtains on what has to happen to keep everything moving and all the checks that are with it, it is rather complex. So again, well done. So all right, we'll say goodbye to everyone there. And I think last but not least, we are in August and we're looking forward to October. Both AnswerModules and Fastman will be at the OpenText conference in Orlando, and we look forward to speaking with you there. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day. That's it. And we can shut it down.